Monday, June 6, the attack on Joseph. However horrible the events that were to follow, they're not hard to comprehend. To be in that close proximity to, and even to be related to, someone whom you hated would inevitably lead, sooner or later, only to trouble. And it did. Genesis 37:12-36 says, His brothers now went to pasture their father's flock near Shechem. Israel later said to Joseph, Your brothers are tending flock near Shechem, are they not? Come, and let me send you to them. At this he said to him, I'm ready. So he said to him, Go, please, and see whether your brothers are well. See how the flock is, and bring word back to me. With that, he sent him away from the valley of Hebron, and he went on toward Shechem. Later, a man found him as he was wandering in a field. The man asked him, What are you looking for? To this he said, I am looking for my brothers. Please tell me, where are they tending flocks? The man continued, They have pulled away from here, for I heard them saying, Let us go to Doukhan. So Joseph went after his brothers and found them at Doukhan. Now they caught sight of him from a distance, and before he reached them, they began plotting against him to put him to death. So they said to one another, Look, here comes that dreamer. Come now, let us kill him and pitch him into one of the water pits, and we will say that a vicious wild animal devoured him. Then let us see what will become of his dreams. When Reuben heard this, he tried to rescue him from them. So he said, Let us not take his life. Reuben said to them, Do not shed blood. Throw him into this well in the wilderness, but do not harm him. His purpose was to rescue him from them in order to return him to his father. So as soon as Joseph came to his brothers, they stripped Joseph of his robe, the special robe that he wore, and they took him in and threw him into the well. At the time the pit was empty, where there was no water in it. When they sat down to eat, when they looked up, there was a caravan of Ishmaelites coming from Gilead. Their camels were carrying spices, and they were on their way down to Egypt. At this, Judah said to his brothers, What profit would there be if we killed our brother and covered over his blood? Come now, let us sell him to the Ishmaelites, and do not let our hand be upon him. After all, he is our brother, our flesh. So they listened to their brother. And when the Midianites merchants were passing by, they lifted Joseph up out of the well and sold him to the Ishmaelites for 20 pieces of silver. These men took Joseph into Egypt. Later, when Reuben returned to the well and saw that Joseph was not in the well, he ripped his garments apart. When he returned to his brothers, he exclaimed, The child is gone, and what am I going to do? So they took Joseph's robe and slaughtered a male goat and dipped the robe in the blood. After that, they sent the special robe to their father and said, This is what we found. Please examine whether this is your son's robe or not. Then he examined it and exclaimed, It is my son's robe. A vicious wild animal must have devoured him. Joseph is surely torn to pieces. With that, Jacob ripped his garments apart and put sackcloth around his waist and mourned his son for many days. And all his sons and all his daughters kept trying to comfort him. But he kept refusing to take comfort, saying, I will go down into the grave mourning my son. And his father continued weeping for him. Now the Midianites sold him in Egypt to Potiphar, a court official of Pharaoh and the chief of the guard. What does this teach us about how dangerous and evil unregenerate hearts can be, and what they can lead any one of us to do? The brothers hate Joseph because they are jealous of God's favor, Acts 7:9, a favor that will be confirmed at each step in the next course of events. When Joseph has lost his way, a man finds him and guides him, Genesis 37:15. When Joseph's brother plot to kill him, Reuben intervenes and suggests that he be thrown into a pit instead, Genesis 37:20-22. It's hard to imagine the kind of hatred expressed here, especially for someone of their own household. How could these young men have done something so cruel? Did they not think, even for a few moments, about how this would impact their own father? Whatever resentment they may have had toward their father because he favored Joseph, to do this to one of his children was truly despicable. What a powerful manifestation of just how evil human beings can be. From the book Patriarchs and Prophets, page 211, it says, "But some of them, brothers, were all at ease. They did not feel the satisfaction they had anticipated from their revenge. Soon, a company of travelers was seen approaching. It was a caravan of Ishmaelites from beyond the Jordan, on their way to Egypt with spices and other merchandise. Judah now proposed to sell their brother to these heathen traders instead of leaving him to die. While he would be effectually put out of their way, they would remain clear of his blood. After they cast him into the pit, planning to kill him later, a caravan passes, and Judah proposes to his brothers to sell Joseph to them, Genesis 37:26-27. After Joseph is sold to the Midianites, Genesis 37:28, the Midianites sell him to someone in Egypt, Genesis 37:36, thus anticipating his future glory. Why is it so important to seek God's power in order to change bad traits of character before they can manifest themselves in acts that, at one point in your life, you would never have imagined yourself doing? From the book, Ellen G. White comments in the SDA Bible Commentary, Volume 1, page 1096, it says, Joseph's brothers rudely repulsed him. He told them his errand, but they answered him not. Joseph was alarmed at their angry looks. Fear took the place of joy, and he instinctively shrank with dread from their presence. They then took hold of him violently. They taunted him with the admonitions he had given them in the past, accused him of relating his dreams to exalt himself above them in the mind of their father, that he might love him more than themselves. From the book Counsels to Parents and Teachers and Students, page 537, it says, "A good character must be built up brick by brick. Those characteristics which will enable the youth to labor successfully in God's cause must be obtained by diligent exercise of their faculties, by improving every advantage Providence gives them, and by connecting with the source of all wisdom. They must be satisfied with no low standard. The characters of Joseph and Daniel are good models for them to follow, and in the life of the Savior they have a perfect pattern. All are given an opportunity to develop character. All may fill their appointed places in God's great plan." God bless.